Let me guess, you're watching this from the bathroom. It's okay, no judgment. You're among friends. Here's the thing, nobody warns you about being a human. You are, essentially, a very sophisticated water balloon that has to be emptied several times a day, forever, until you die. And some of us seem to be emptying it way more than others. So today, we're answering one of the most Googled, least talked about questions on the internet. Why do I pee so much? We're going to follow the whole journey, from the glass of water on your desk to that urgent sprint down the hallway. We'll figure out what's normal, what's just your morning coffee betraying you, and what actually deserves a phone call to your doctor. Grab a drink. Actually, maybe don't. Let's get into it. To understand why you pee so much, you first have to understand why you pee at all. And the answer is genuinely one of the coolest things your body does without ever asking your permission. Meet the stars of the show, your kidneys. Two bean-shaped organs, each about the size of your fist, sitting in your lower back. And these things are absolute overachievers. Every single day, your kidneys filter your entire blood supply somewhere around 40 times. All of it. Roughly 180 litres of fluid get pushed through these microscopic filters. Now, if you actually peed out 180 litres a day, that would be, and I want to be medically precise here, a catastrophe. You'd be a raisin by lunch. So your kidneys do something brilliant. They reabsorb almost all of it, the water, the salt, the good stuff, and put it back into your bloodstream. What's left, the tiny concentrated fraction of waste and excess water, becomes urine. We're talking maybe 1 to 2 litres a day out of that original 180. Your kidneys are basically the world's most aggressive recycling program. That urine trickles down 2 tubes called the ureters into your bladder, which is a stretchy, muscular balloon whose entire job in life is to be a holding tank. When it's empty, it's about the size of a plum. When it's full, it can stretch to about the size of a grapefruit and hold roughly 1.5 cups to 2 cups of liquid. And here's the part I love. Lining your bladder are stretch receptors, little sensors that monitor how full you're getting. When you hit about the halfway mark, they send their first polite message up to your brain. Hey, something to think about eventually. Keep filling, and the messages get more insistent. By the time you're really full, those sensors are no longer sending polite emails. They are pulling the fire alarm. That whole feeling, the awareness, the urgency, the ability to hold it until you find an actual bathroom, that's a constant negotiation between your bladder and your brain. And most of the time, it works beautifully. It's when that conversation gets chatty that you end up watching this video. Okay, the question everyone actually wants answered. How much peeing is normal? For most adults, the typical range is somewhere around 6 to 8 times in a 24-hour day. Some perfectly healthy people land at 4. Some land at 10. It's a range, not a law. But, and this matters, normal depends enormously on context. If you drink 4 litres of water and a giant iced coffee, then peeing a lot isn't a mystery. That's not a medical condition. That's math. The frequency also isn't the only thing worth paying attention to. Doctors care about a few other clues. Are you getting up multiple times at night to go? That one has its own fancy name, nocturia, and it's worth noticing. Is the volume large every time, or are you rushing to the bathroom only to produce a disappointing little trickle? Because those two things, going often versus going a lot, point to completely different explanations. We'll come back to that. It's basically the central mystery of this whole video. So before you panic diagnose yourself, ask, compared to your usual, has something actually changed? Because a sudden change from your normal is far more interesting than the number itself. Most of the time, frequent peeing has a boring, totally benign explanation. Let's put the usual suspects in the lineup. Coffee, tea, energy drinks, cola. Caffeine is a diuretic, which is a fancy word for a thing that makes you pee more. It nudges your kidneys to pump out more fluid, and it can irritate the bladder, making it twitchier and quicker to sound the alarm. So if your bathroom trips spike an hour after your morning latte, congratulations, you've solved the case. The culprit was the barista all along. Alcohol is an even sneakier diuretic. It actually suppresses a hormone, we'll meet that hormone in a second, whose whole job is to help you hold on to water. Switch that hormone off, and your kidneys let the floodgates open. It's why one beer somehow sends you to the bathroom 4 times and why you wake up parched. Which feels deeply unfair, but chemistry doesn't care about your feelings. This is the most common answer of all, and the most overlooked. If you've been told to drink more water, and you took it very seriously, your body is simply doing what it's supposed to, taking the extra in and showing the extra out. The suspect is innocent. This is a functioning body working as intended. Ever notice you pee more when you're cold? That's real, and it even has a wonderfully nerdy name, cold diuresis. When you're chilly, your blood vessels tighten to keep your core warm, which raises your blood pressure a little, and your kidneys respond by offloading some fluid. Your body's logic is basically less liquid to keep warm, please. Rude, but efficient. When you're nervous, your nervous system goes into high alert. And one of its many charming side effects is telling your bladder to feel urgent, even when it isn't very full. It's why you suddenly need to go right before a job interview, a first date, or a public speech. Your bladder, unfortunately, has stage fright too. Notice that every single one of these is completely normal. If your frequent peeing traces back to one of these, the cure is often just noticing the pattern. But sometimes it isn't one of these. So let's talk about the hormone I keep teasing. Meet antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. And that name is a gift because it tells you exactly what it does. Diuretic means makes you pee. Anti means against. So ADH is the stop peeing hormone. It's the night shift security guard for your water supply. When your body needs to conserve water, say overnight while you're asleep and obviously not drinking, your brain releases more ADH. It tells your kidneys to reabsorb extra water and make less, more concentrated urine. That's the entire reason you can sleep 8 hours without a bathroom emergency. Thank this little guard for every uninterrupted night you've ever had. Now, remember alcohol from the lineup. Alcohol tells this security guard to go home early. No guard, no hold the water order, and suddenly you're up at 3 a.m. And as some people get older, the body naturally makes less ADH at night, which is one reason nighttime trips become more common with age. It's not always a problem. Sometimes it's just your night shift guard getting a little tired. All right. Most of the time it's coffee and math, but sometimes frequent peeing is your body waving a little flag, and it's worth knowing what those flags look like. I'll keep this clear, and gently, this is the part where I remind you I am a video, not a physician. Urinary tract infections, UTIs. This is a big one, especially the going constantly but only producing a trickle pattern. A UTI irritates the bladder lining, so it feels urgent and full even when it's nearly empty. The tell is usually discomfort, burning, stinging, a general sense that your bladder is furious with you. UTIs are common, very treatable, and not something to tough out. Diabetes. Here's a fascinating one. In diabetes, there's excess sugar in the blood, and your kidneys try to flush it out, but sugar drags water along with it. The result is peeing large volumes frequently, often paired with being incredibly thirsty. In fact, frequent urination and unquenchable thirst together are 2 of the classic early signs. If that combo sounds familiar, that's a real reason to get checked. There's also a rarer, unrelated condition with a confusingly similar name, diabetes insipidus, which has nothing to do with blood sugar and everything to do with that ADH security guard either going missing or being ignored by the kidneys. Same dramatic result, lots and lots of very dilute urine. Overactive bladder. Sometimes the bladder muscle just jumps the gun. It contracts and signals urgency when it isn't actually full. It's a genuine, common and treatable condition, not a character flaw, and not something you just have to live with quietly. Pregnancy. For a fairly obvious spatial reason, a growing uterus pressing on the bladder, plus a surge of hormones early on, frequent urination is one of the earliest and most reliable signs. Prostate stuff. For folks with a prostate, that gland tends to enlarge with age, and since it sits right around the plumbing, it can press on things and make urination more frequent, more urgent, and, annoyingly, less complete. Very common, very manageable, worth a conversation. And medications. Some drugs are literally designed to make you pee. They're called diuretics, or water pills, often prescribed for blood pressure. If your frequency spiked right after starting a new medication, that's not a coincidence. That's the prescription doing its job. I know that was a lot of conditions in a row. Please don't spiral. The point isn't to scare you. It's that, why do I pee so much, has a bunch of possible answers, and most of them are either harmless or very fixable once someone looks into it. So here's the practical part. How do you know if this is a shrug and drink less coffee situation or a make an appointment situation? A few flags worth taking seriously. See someone if it came on suddenly and nothing in your routine changed. If you've got burning, pain or blood, that's a today problem, not a someday problem. If you're constantly thirsty no matter how much you drink or losing weight without trying. If you're waking up many times every night and it's wrecking your sleep. If there's leaking or you can't make it in time. Or if it's simply bothering you, that alone is a good enough reason. You don't need to earn a doctor's visit by suffering enough first. The golden rule across this whole video, you know your own baseline better than anyone. A clear change from your normal is the signal worth listening to. So, why do you pee so much? Zoom out, and it's kind of beautiful. You've got 2 tireless kidneys filtering your entire bloodstream dozens of times a day, a stretchy bladder running a constant negotiation with your brain, and a little hormone guard working the night shift so you can sleep. Most of the time, peeing a lot is just that gorgeous system responding to your coffee, your water bottle, the weather, or your nerves. And sometimes it's your body flagging something worth checking. Both are okay. Both are just your body doing the thing it's always doing, talking to you. The trick is learning to listen without either ignoring it or panicking about it. And the required but genuinely important note, I'm an educational video, not your doctor. Nothing here is medical advice. And if anything about your body has you worried, please talk to an actual healthcare professional who can, ask follow-up questions. If this cleared things up, or at least made your next bathroom trip a little more fascinating, hit subscribe, because apparently we make videos about this now. And hey, you've probably been holding it this whole time. Go on, you've earned it.